A lot of big news. Binance and Binance.us and the SEC agreed to allow U.S. employees to access customer fund. So this is a big deal. This basically means that Binance.us is not going to shut down, because there were some worry that if the SEC got their way and actually froze all access to all assets and funds, then Binance.us is essentially dead, right? The judge basically told SEC, go work out a deal, and they did. So Binance.com now has been locked out of Binance.us, right? And only Binance.us employees have access to whatever they're supposed to have access, so Binance.us can continue forward, right? Basically, that's the thing. Now, Binance.us is they're not the main focus here, even though they are and they aren't. SEC is really trying to target Binance.com and CZ, okay? Because they claim that there's commingling of money and assets being moved around and all this stuff. But Binance.us, basically they're they're kind of in a weird position right now, because they are their own entity, but of course they have the Binance name, and with everything else that's going on in the U.S., they got their bank fiat on-ramps and off-ramps basically cut. All these banks don't want to deal with them anymore. So they're in a weird situation right now. But the SEC is trying to go after Binance, and good luck. Good luck. I don't think that's going to be a very easy target to go after. But those of you guys that are in the U.S., if you have Binance.us, so this is good news. At least they're not going to be cut off. Also, Coinbase is in the news because Coinbase is also involved with the SEC. It got sued by the SEC, but also they're suing the SEC for a response that they've been waiting for since 2022. And again, the SEC is not responding. And basically, it's Coinbase asking for clarification on what's a security and what's not. Okay, and of course, the SEC does not want to answer that. So Coinbase is pressing forward and trying to get an answer, and hopefully they will get something within the next month. Basically, a federal judge already asked SEC to comply, and the SEC has not complied. So think about that, how a government agency can now not listen to federal judges. That doesn't even make any sense. They should be thrown in jail for that, or Gary should be, right? But now they're pressing forward, forcing the SEC to give a response, which they really, really, really did not want to. And that relates to Brad Garlinghouse's video that I'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, it definitely relates to what he said in his video. All right, so there's those things I want to kick off. Blackrock, of course, still everyone's talking about it, debating about it. Is this a good thing or not good thing, right? Should there someone's saying about these hearts in the live chat. I can't change them. It just keeps going. Sorry. I don't know. YouTube added that, so I can't change that. But as for BlackRock, many people feel like BlackRock coming into the game is going to change the game. It's going to bring trillions in. Others debate, well, if BlackRock's in it, then they're going to try to control it, and it's going to be no good, right? So you got both sides arguing about BlackRock. But one thing's for sure. BlackRock is getting serious about this. Most likely it's going to get approved. Now, this ETF thing is a little bit different because SEC has always denied ETFs, and this time around BlackRock is doing something with NASDAQ, which will basically give more transparency into the trades to help alleviate any concerns of manipulation. So we'll see if that's the case. But there are people that are still comparing this, the BlackRock's proposed Bitcoin ETF with, of course, Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust and MicroStrategy, and just holding Bitcoin mining stocks or Bitcoin itself. Obviously, if you break things down, according to this person's opinion, holding Bitcoin in cold storage is the best. Don't disagree there. Now, if you're comparing, say, MicroStrategy stock with Bitcoin ETF, there are some benefits and not non-benefits, I guess. Cash flow and generating, MicroStrategy does generate cash flow. Whether or not that helps the stock at this point, undetermined, because it basically is a Bitcoin ETF, just follows Bitcoin. Bitcoin ETF does not have cash flow generating, okay. But business risk from BTC price volatility, a ETF would be good. MicroStrategy is affected by Bitcoin price volatility. And then you have all these other ones like counterparty risk. Of course, both companies can go down, so that's bad, versus holding your own Bitcoin. There's no counterparty risk. And then everything else, right? So it's a toss-up. If you really wanted a Bitcoin ETF, you could buy MicroStrategy stock. But again, I don't know how many institutions out there that really want to FOMO in MicroStrategy stock. Although Blackrock already is in MicroStrategy, Vanguard and Fidelity, they all own a piece of MicroStrategy already. So that kind of shows you the big boys are already in. Bitcoin, since it started going up a little bit, just a little bit, caused over 100 million in liquidations. So this is kind of surprising. Over the last 24 hours, if you look at the longs liquidated, shorts liquidated, there's always both sides, but you could clearly see over 24 hours, 22 million Bitcoin liquidated, shorts, 15 million for ETH, and then you go down the line, there's a lot. Even the shorters of XRP and BNB lost millions. Shorters of Solana and Matic lost millions. Shorters of Sui and then Aptos lost millions, right? You add it all together, it's about $100 million worth of shorts liquidated, right? Because, again, there's a lot of traders out there that think they know better, that they can outsmart the market, and then a BlackRock news hits and boom, everything starts going up and they all get liquidated, right? And here's the thing. The price rise that we have seen right now, I know it's just barely little. The good thing about it is it didn't even really cause any short squeezes. Yes, 100 million has been liquidated, but it's not even a big deal, right? Even CryptoQuant came out and said it. Right now, the buying is actually from buying. It's not from short squeezes. And we have seen when Bitcoin pumps up 1,000 or 2,000 points due to short squeezes. And we haven't seen that yet, right? But if we continue on our way, we could certainly see it soon. Even from a technical standpoint, this is what Bitcoin looks like right now in a falling wedge pattern, okay? And it's looking pretty good. We're at that neckline, and it looks like it wants to break out. So even from a technical standpoint, and here's another one, we're in the RSI bullish divergence. If you look at some of these previous times, like 2021, there's a lot of patterns, fractal patterns everywhere. But if you look at 2021, before we started climbing, right, we're in that same scenario. So even from a technical standpoint, you don't want to be shorting Bitcoin. That's just suicide right now, right? But long term, this is what it looks like. We barely started a recovery. Yes, we started recovering a little bit, but nowhere close to reaching peak.